we could talk about the use of solar energy in crop agriculture, but let's talk song. Before we start, let me quickly thank Andrew Morgan and new supporter UMSE here on YouTube and over on Patreon, JC, Prince of Wales and Amy May for their active financial support of this enterprise. If the rest of you also want to contribute, please check the links in description. Today I'm going to react to a viewer request. The song is called LOML by Taylor Swift, and those are the people who requested it. YouTube members Rafael Figueroa and Paula Freitas, Patreon supporter Jennifer Grinder, as well as regular viewers Hubbard Jean, HP, Hannah, Daisy May, Daphne the Orange, Rubja One, Semk Alex, Ali is amazing, Ray Stunner, Linnea Thunberg, Totally Robsessed, Eve Caster or F Caster, Jen Wensler, Nitro Neil, Shahar Luzon, Heather Shea, Zara K323, SMG 4066, and Angry Dango. Those are the people who in the course of the last weeks requested LOML, so sorry for the delay. I really want to know why it is a fan favorite, so without further ado, let's get going. Step one, find the tone center of the song. Makes sense because it's played on the piano and it's the easiest key on the piano. Sorry, I haven't shown you the piano. So it's C major. Another thing that I spotted is that apparently we are in some kind of 6/8 beat. Pretty interesting. No, sorry. A 3-3-2 idea. Okay, so I think it's basically C major arpeggiated with nice magical notes in between, but we don't change the chord. Okay, so forget what I said. It's of course a chord progression that starts with the 1, goes to the 6 minor, then there's something I don't know, then there is 5. We have got a 1-6 minor 5 progression, where the 5 is double the length of the 1 and the 6 minor, with juicy notes in between. I'm not going to go through all the notes, but just for the first idea, let us see if we can spot the pattern. I think this is the idea. Which is really cool, because at the beginning, first chord, we have got an add 4 here, right? So it's not sus4 because we play the 3 as well, but we have got an A add 4. Then on the A minor, we suddenly introduced the minor 7 and also the 6th of, or the flat 6 I should say, of the chord, making it super juicy. Then we go to the G, and on the G we suddenly don't have the B, we don't have the D, but instead we have got the 4, the 7 and the 6, flat 7 I should say, and the 6, right? We could even argue that this is a C major with the 5th in bass. So this could also be an interpretation. I hear it as a dominant chord that then wants to resolve to the C major, so I would say that it is certainly a G chord and not a C chord. Really, really interesting already.
Who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames?
Okay, we go into the verse where the melody starts after the beginning. I think it starts together with the E. With an E on the E. Let's analyze the melody.
Who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames?
Okay.
Who's gonna us from waltzing back into rekindled
Who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames? Cool, cool, cool. So, again, we basically have got a C arpeggio, this time with the add 9. So 1, 2, 3, and 5 are the notes so far from the scale. We could even argue that it's a pentatonic scale and that it leaves out the F.
if we know the steps anyway.
Same notes, different structure, because suddenly we have got the lower G, kind of as the short answer to that longer line at the beginning. So lyric wise we have got who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames, if we know the steps anyway. What we can see is that we establish an AA rhyming pattern with flames and anyway rhyming with each other, but the lengths of the lines vary considerably. So we have got a very long line answered by a short line. I imagine that this is a pattern that is going to continue.
We embroidered the memories of the time I was away.
Repetition of that first long line, but we don't land on the E, but instead on the D, leaving it a bit more uncertain. A bit more floaty.
Stitching, we were just kids, babe.
And this is the short line that we already knew from that if we know the steps anyway. So we offer basically a repetition of that idea with a tiny melodic variation in line number 3. In terms of rhyming pattern, we keep this A rhyme. We embroidered the memories of the time I was away, stitching we were just kids, babe. So it's 4 lines that rhyme with each other.
I said I don't mind, it takes time.
New section. Melodies still starting after the downbeat.
I said I don't mind, it takes time.
I think it's the same pattern in the right hand.
I thought I was better safe than starry-eyed.
Yes, so we have got new chords, but same pattern. Beautiful. We start the thing on the 4, on the F chord, with the major 7 and the 9. Then we go to what we know, A minor, and then to the G that also repeats, just like in the verse. So in fact, what we reharm is just the first chord, right? Where we had the 1, we now have the 4. Turning this instantly into some kind of pre-chorus that raises tension and takes us to a floaty stage.
I said I don't mind.
Right? It goes a little bit back to this that we know from the verse. It's a variation of that idea. So a short idea at the beginning.
It takes time.
Repeat that idea. So the ideas get shorter and shorter.
I thought I was better safe than starry-eyed.
And this time we have a long line answering the 2 short ideas. I thought it was
I thought I was better safe than.
I thought I was better safe than starry-eyed. Cool. Really nice alliteration as well with safe and starry-eyed with that prominence of the S. I said I don't mind, it takes time. I thought I was better safe than starry-eyed. So I would say we have got 3 lines, which would make sense in a pre-chorus because we need unbalanced, we need uneven number of lines, all rhyming with each other, something that we've seen in the verse as well, this time with the rhymes mind, time, and I'd.
I felt a glow like this.
Interesting. So we break the rhyming pattern, but we keep the melodic and lyrical structure. I felt a glow like this with, right, with that pattern that we know from the first half of the pre-chorus, and then this gets answered with never before and never since. So In terms of rhyming pattern, we break it because a glow certainly does not rhyme with this group of this and since. So we would have an XBB pattern in the second half of the pre-chorus, in my opinion.
If you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary.
Chorus. Third time that we start the melody after the downbeat, so not a lot of contrast in that regard. The chord progression is also the same as the one in the verse. We certainly have got a new melodic development, which is what sets it apart from the verse. Let's listen to melody.
If you know it in one glimpse, it's
Right, like a wave.
legendary.
It's legendary.
You and I go from one kiss to getting married.
Okay, so again we have a melody that is structured or that can be separated into two parts. The wave and the short answer. In the second idea we repeat the wave and we resolve the answer, going back to the tonic of the scale. Lyrics, if you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary. You and I go from one kiss to getting married, which is quite interesting because one glimpse and one kiss includes the one into the rhyme. So I would say we have got an ABAB rhyming pattern with one glimpse rhyming with one kiss, and legendary with getting married, which is a really cool mosaic rhyme where you take two words and rhyme it with one, right? Legendary as a 4-syllable word with the stress on the first syllable, legendary, right? We have got a strong L and a weak gendary. And with getting married, it's the same thing, only that it's two words. So mosaic rhyme, really, really cool strategy.
Still alive, killing time at the cemetery.
Repeat the melodic ideas. The wave, and the answer. In terms of lyrics, still alive, killing time at the cemetery. So we offer a variation where suddenly this long idea that ended with one glimpse and one kiss in the first half of the chorus now gets split again into still alive, killing time. Nice internal rhyme. Certainly cemetery is still the rhyming field of legendary and getting married.
Never quite buried.
Oh, interesting. Short variation in the fourth progression.
You suit and tie in the nick of time.
Oh, interesting. And now she takes us to some kind of post-chorus that now changes chords again.
Never quite buried.
It's certainly still that at the cemetery, right? Never quite buried. Same rhyme, certainly. And then we leave this and go into the post-chorus.
And you suit and tie in the nick of time.
Interesting that she would take the progression that we know from the pre-chorus. So the 4 is 6 minor 5. First melody that starts before the downbeat, where she has got this in your suit and ties, kind of the pickup idea.
And you suit and tie.
In your suit and tie. Interesting jump down a fifth from E to A.
In the nick of time.
Repeat.
You low down boy.
Variation.
Stand up guy.
Variation, repetition. So we always have got a 3-note idea. Twice with that leap down. Repeat this. And then with steps only. Certainly all notes or all motifs having this downward movement in different stages.
Holy Ghost.
Go back to that 5th idea. Holy Ghost.
You told me
You told me I'm interesting to leave this open because now the sentence is certainly going to continue.
The love of your life.
The love of your life, which is loml. Oh yeah, I think this is love of my life, I suppose.
The love of your life.
This life isn't even a note. Life.
Said I'm the love of your life.
And then it resolves. You said I'm the love of your life. Going back to a harmonic resolution, we could say, right? With tension, and then resolving. Post-chorus or second chorus half, because it features the variation of the title of the song. I don't know. Let's look at lyrics for a second. In your suit and tie, in the nick of time, you low-down boy, you stand-up guy. Interesting. I'd say AAXA rhyming pattern with tie and time and guy rhyming, boy not. Then Holy Ghost, you told me I'm the love of your life. Here I would say that we have got an XAA rhyming idea, with ghost not rhyming with I'm and life. At the same time, we have got this beautiful internal rhyme with holy and told, right? Holy Ghost, and ghost also is part of that family. Holy Ghost, you told me I'm, and then we've got the love of your life, and then the repetition. You said I'm the love of your life with that love of your life.
About a million times.
Okay. In this interlude, she suddenly says, about a million times. Is that it?
About a million times.
About a million times.
Who's gonna tell me the truth when you blew in with the winds of fate?
Certainly verse, right? The idea that we know from verse number 1 is who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames. And this now becomes, even keeping the rhyme, who's gonna tell me the truth when you blew in with the winds of fate, which is a brilliant line, because not only have we got alliterations all over the place with tell and truth, and then with when, with and winds, but also this beautiful internal rhyme between truth and blue and you. So this is and who even. So this is so full of thought that it's really a brilliant line. Boost the line in second verses. This is something that I haven't seen in quite some time.
And told me I reformed you.
Short answering line, something that we know from the first verse. Is it also the same rhyme? No, because in the first verse with who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames, and if we know the steps anyway, we had established an AA rhyming pattern. Now we start suggesting that same pattern with fate, but this gets answered with and told me I reformed you, so this does not rhyme.
When your impressionist paintings of heaven turned out to be fakes.
What cool lines when your impressionist paintings, really cool P sounds there, of heaven turned out to be fakes. Going back to the fate rhyme.
But you took me to hell too.
When you took, well, you took me to hell too. Heaven and hell. And of course, to needs to be the last word because it has to rhyme with that short line and told me I reformed you.
And all at once, the ink bleeds.
Pre-chorus that we know, okay? This year. And all at once, the ink bleeds. This was, I said, I don't mind, it takes time. So again, where we had this rhyme with mind and time, we now haven't got the rhyme, and all at once the ink bleeds. So lyric-wise, we're getting uglier. Might this be prosodic?
A con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme.
Really cool. A con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme. Okay, so those two short lines getting answered by the long line.
I felt a hole like this.
Things don't rhyme anymore. Things get more uncomfortable.
Never before and ever since.
And this never before and ever since is the transition that we know I believe. Yes, from the first pre-chorus. So this was also the transition to the first chorus. What we thought was for all time was momentary. New lyrics in the chorus, which is quite interesting, right? So if you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary. Got answered by you and I go from one kiss to getting married. Really, not really romantic, but positive, certainly. And now we've got what we thought was for all time was momentary. Okay. That makes sense, because the second verse was much more pessimistic and gets darker and darker, and of course the lyrics in the chorus also need to get darker then.
Still alive,
Killing time at the cemetery.
cinephile.
Okay, interesting. Cinephile. What a beautiful word. You're cinephile. The post-chorus number 1 was introduced with In Your Suit and Tie, so we are still in the same I rhyme world.
In black and white, all those plot twists.
Okay. Better girl, gotta come, ba-da-da-da-ba-da-dum. So leap, leap, step, step is the pattern that we know from post-chorus 2. 1.
Mr. Steal Your Girl,
And then repeat the ideas, new lyrics though.
then make her cry. You said I'm the love of your life.
Okay, lyrics. You cinephile in black and white. All those plot twists and dynamite. Mr. Steal Your Girl, then make her cry. You said I'm the love of your life. Remember that the first post-chorus resolved quite harmonically. I wonder if this one is going to 2.
You should talk to me.
No. Of course not, because it's not beautiful anymore. So we don't have got this love of my life, but instead we go into a primary bridge that I hope is going to be great.
You should talk to me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles.
New chord progression, but with the same upper structure. D minor with a lot of juicy stuff going on, right? With the minor 7, with that add 9, and of course with that add 11. Then C major with E and bass, and of course add 4, and the F that we already know from the pre-chorus. Cool. Melody.
You should talk to me under the table, talking
Another start after the downbeat.
talking rings and talking cradles. I wish I could unrecall.
One note melody basically in the first structure, right? You should talk me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles. I wish I could unrecall.
How we almost had it all.
How we almost had it all, which was the melodic motif from Love of My Life, or Love of Your Life, right? Almost had it all, right? Love of your life. Really, really interesting. Things stagnate, right? In a prosodic sense. There is no movement in this relationship, which is why the melody has to get stuck on one note. You shit-talked me under the table with cool t sounds, talking rings and talking cradles, keeping that T sounds. I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all, right? So on the surface, we have got a relatively simple AABB rhyming pattern with table rhyming with cradles, and unrecall with had it all, but with that beautiful T sounds forming those alliterations in the first half. Really, really cool.
I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. Dance.
With a tiny transition, which is also cool. Okay, where the bass takes the E as an intermediary step.
Dancing phantoms on the terrace, are they second-hand embarrassed?
Wow. Dancing phantoms on the terrace, are they second-hand embarrassed? Which is pretty cool to say. Again, hammering in that thing here.
That I can't get out of bed, 'cause something counterfeits dead.
And ba-da-da-da, with that very, very dark, prosodic idea where we take this love of your life, that now, in terms of lyrics, is something counterfeits dead, right? So, dancing phantoms on the terrace, are they second-hand embarrassed that I can't get out of bed because something counterfeits dead?
That I can't get out of bed 'cause something counterfeit.
And tiny reharm choice. Remember that we built this? Instead of staying on this, we now move to the G, creating this dominant feel, counterfeits, that we need to take us to the one chord.
It's legendary. It was momentary.
Words we know from the chorus, but that are now kind of ad-libby. It was legendary, it was momentary, like an afterthought to that primary bridge that may be a transition to a strong last chorus. I don't know.
It was unnecessary. Should have let it stay buried.
So it's more like a development of those ideas, right? It was unnecessary, should have let it stay buried. The stay buried thing we know from the cemetery already.
Oh, what a valiant roar.
Ba-da-da-da. Right? Those steps we knew from the pre-chorus. No, not from the pre-chorus, but from the post-chorus, I believe. Valiant roar.
What a bland goodbye. The coward claimed.
This is the post-chorus.
Was a lion.
The coward claimed he was a lion. Oh, what a valiant roar. What a bland goodbye. The coward claimed he was a lion. This is very poetic.
I'm combing through the braids of lies.
I'm combing through the braids of lies. I'll never leave, never mind.
A field of dreams engulfed in fire.
We simplify melody, right? We had then we had now we have which is taken from the love of your life idea. A field of dreams engulfed in fire.
Your arsons match your
But we certainly still are in that idea.
somber eyes, and I'll still see it.
Outro afterthoughts based on that secondary or post-chorus idea.
Until I die, you're the loss of my life.
Loss of my life. Now the love of my life becomes the loss of my life. And she doesn't resolve nicely. Why would she? Not even in the chords, because if she resolved it in the end, that would mean that it's a happy ending, and it's not, which is why she has to leave us hanging. What a beautiful prosodic end, right, where it doesn't resolve nicely. This was Taylor Swift's LOML, Love of My Life, Loss of My Life. Quite unclear and ambiguous, but I'm sure we can take away valuable songwriting learnings. Songwriting learning number 1 is about using rhymes as a prosodic way of showing harmony and the loss of harmony. So in the first verse, up until the first chorus, everything seems okay in terms of content, right? Who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames if we know the steps anyway? We embroidered the memories of the time I was away, stitching we were just kids, babe. I said I don't mind, it takes that. It's relatively positive, right? Which is why the lines all rhyme. Now in the second verse, things start to get ugly, and the rhyme shows that. Who's gonna tell me the truth when you blew in with the winds of fate and told me I reformed you? When your impressionist paintings of heaven turned out to be fakes, well, you took me to hell too. Now, we talk about hell, and we leave clean rhyming patterns, which is prosodic next level, we could say, because this is something that they were very, very aware of, right? The beautiful sections get the beautiful rhymes, the not so beautiful sections get the not so beautiful rhymes, which is a brilliant idea that we have to consider when writing our own songs as well. Songwriting learning number 2. I'm staying in that prosodic field. This time I'm going to look at the primary bridge, where we talk about a stagnating relationship, a relationship that doesn't go anywhere, and she turns this into music by, and when I say she, I mean Taylor Swift and Aaron Dessner. They turn this into a melody that simply won't move, right? Listen to this.
You shit talked me under the table, talking rings and talking cradles.
This is really, really something scary, right? Something, right? The rhythm is very, very on the grid and won't allow for any freedom, and the melody as well. So another great prosodic element, another great thing to show that something's wrong, right? When the melody simply won't move. And songwriting learning number 3. I'm still talking about prosody because there is so much to find out here in this song. I'm talking about the resolutions and no resolutions. Remember that at the end of the first post-chorus idea, we were quite happy with the love of your life thing, and this sounds like this. Beautiful resolution. Set on the love of your life. But everything's cool, right? At the end of the song, or before the primary bridge, I should say, we don't find this resolution. Listen to this here. Right? No note at all. Love of your life. And then we don't get this payoff. But instead we go into this stagnation mode. And at the end of the song, you're the loss of my life, that of course also does not resolve beautifully because this wouldn't make sense.
You're the loss of my life.
So again, no note, loss of my life. And chords, dominant function, don't resolve. What a beautiful prosodic element, both in terms of, or not only in terms of lyrics, but also in terms of melody and in terms of chords. Beautiful songwriting. I learn a lot from Taylor Swift. Thank you all for suggesting this. And this was my live reaction and on-the-fly analysis of Taylor Swift's LOML, Loss of My Life, Love of My Life. You choose. If you like this, please make sure to give me the thumbs up, to leave friendly comments, and to subscribe to the Let's Talk Song channel. Thanks again to active financial supporters Andrew Morgan and you MSE here on YouTube, and JC Prince of Wales and Amy May over on Patreon, as well as all the people who requested this song here. If the others also want to make a financial contribution, I suggest you check the links in the description. I guess we've talked song. You can talk about the use of solar power in crop agriculture now. Bye bye.